Hello and welcome. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So it was very different from what I was imagining. In my imagination, it would be, before I watched even the trailers or I watched the movie, I was thinking it would be something like Jumanji, that they're living a modern life and like suddenly something dragged them into a game. And it was like, I was positively, let's say, surprised to see that it is not like this. And they were really living this life and like the life was taking them to some challenges. So it was like different from my imagination. It's not necessarily bad, just like different things, but yeah, I thought I was expecting something more like in the direction of Jumanji. I don't know why, but it was my imagination. It was not like this, but it was nice. The actors were very good. The visuals were not as good as some like MCU or DC movies, but of course I think they have different, let's say, budgets with the other ones. But okay, it had best CGI. I mean, as I said, the budget is different, so what you cannot expect the same visuals from like MCU and from this movie. And I should say that some of the visuals were reminding me of this NPC man, the ones were World of Warcraft ones that on YouTube, I guess you can watch it. It was just, I mean, if you haven't watched it, just like watch these NPC mans, they're so fun. But in general, somehow some of the visuals were reminding me of those like videos. I should be honest, I have never played Dungeons and Dragons. Although I'm a game person, I was more always sort of like World of Warcraft style of game. So I played so long and so many hours of my life World of Warcraft. I have several characters and like I was so much into it. Never played Dungeons and Dragons, but this movie was very interesting for me because it was somehow like I am playing the game. I am in a game, and that made it quite fun for me. Somehow it was like a mixture between a humorful version of like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. So it was just like a mixture. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not right, but for me I had this feeling that it has some combinations of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and World of the Warcrafts, and it was just like a mix. So I must say, honestly, sometimes the humor was too much. You know that I'm a person who is enjoying humor so much, and I'm really most of the times appreciating the humor of MCU, for example, in their movies. But in this movie, a little bit sometimes it was too much that I was just like, okay, you could skip this joke maybe. So it was some parts, not cringe, that's a different type of humor, I must say, but it was just like, you could skip this joke and you could not like make a joke about it, something like this. It really looks like a real hard quest. So we were living in this game and like we were watching a game by living in it, and like we were going through hard quests. It was good to see that some of the characters are better in fighting while some of the other characters are good in charms or like other stuff. Chris Pine, for example, was a master of plans, and his plan was most of the times failing, but it was good that they were really giving like each one of these like characters to each of the actors also. So they were really respecting the whole idea of the games and like this type of games. Other part in this movie that I really enjoyed was like a Portal, because I guess most of us played the Portal game also, and like they were using somehow like this idea of this Portal game also in this movie, that it was somehow interesting to see, because yeah, as I said, I was also playing it. I was playing a lot when I was young, and also when I was a child, let's say, and even now. So I mean, I have so many flashbacks of different games, but like this Portal ones was also one of the ones. But I should say, the most interesting scene for me that I can watch it like 10 times more is the parts that they wanted to put the portal on one of the treasures and they wanted to enter into the carriage. It was just like amazing. I really liked it. I was really enjoying it. I was just like, oh my god, it's just so cool. And I was just like thinking, I want to watch this scene again and again. It was just like amazing. The whole like emotions, the whole like excitement, and like the whole like ideas that they had. It was just like very cool, very on point, very amazing. And I actually I want to watch it right now, even because I just talked about it and I got excited about it. But it is just like, for me, it was just like the best part of the movie, honestly. So, but at some part of the movie, they started to be a little bit boring. But the good thing is they could catch up, and like again, it started to be interesting. But I think honestly, they could cut like 15 to 20 minutes of the movie, so there were some parts that they were so unnecessary. But yeah, I mean, this is so normal in so many movies. We would have this feeling that it is like very sinusoidal. Sometimes you're feeling like, wow, super excited, like I said in the carriage scene. And some parts it was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, you could not show it and I would be happy with my life and I would go on with my life, you know what I mean? So it was like maybe 15 minutes of the movie, 20 minutes of the movie was like this, but the rest was so cool that it could balance it out, let's say. But I would not be sad, for example, if it would be like 20 minutes less. Of course, if they would not cut the cool parts. But in general, you know what I mean. You got my point. But I should say the movie was really nice. I would suggest to watch it. It is not something that you would expect like a lot of like take out message or something about it. It's more like a fantasy that you would watch to enjoy and enjoy the moment, and they really could deliver the thing that we would expect from them. And honestly, they delivered a little bit also more than we would expect. I liked it, and if you haven't watched it, I suggest you to watch it. If you have watched it, so let me know, what do you think about the movie? What was the perfect part and most interesting part for you? And have you played Dungeons and Dragons? And like, write me in the comments what do you think about it in general. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and activate the bell, and see you in the next video. Ciao!